Jury selection began today in the case against Kim Potter, the white former Minneapolis police officer who killed Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man, just a few miles away from the courthouse where Derek Chauvin was on trial for the murder of George Floyd back in April. Body cam video shows Potter and another fellow officer who she was in training initially stopped Daunte's car due to an expired registration sticker. But after it was determined that Daunte had an outstanding warrant for failing to appear in court on an unrelated matter, Potter and two other officers attempted to arrest him. Daunte followed the officer's instructions by getting out of the car and placing his hands behind his back. But when an officer attempted to handcuff Daunte, he pulled away and got back in his car. And that's when you hear Potter yelling, "I'll tase ya," and "taser, taser, taser," before firing a shot into Daunte's chest. Potter claims she made a mistake when she grabbed her gun instead of her taser. She faces 2 charges of first and second degree manslaughter. Attorney Ben Crump and others representing the Wright family put out a statement today slamming Potter's claim that she grabbed her gun by mistake. It reads in part, "We must look past the shameless victim blaming that has been and will be directed towards Daunte. We must also not be fooled by the defense's cries of an innocent mistake. No reasonable officer can confuse their taser for a gun, particularly a training officer who drew both of those weapons from her duty belt countless times." My experts are still with me, attorneys Paul Henderson and Sue Ann Robinson. Paul, 4 jurors have already been selected for the trial. The first is a medical editor who said he has a very unfavorable view of the Blue Lives Matter slogan. The second juror is a retired special education teacher. The third is an operations manager at Target. And the fourth is a woman who described herself as a rule follower. All the potential jurors filled out questionnaires and were asked about their knowledge of the Potter case and also their thoughts on protests and policing in the Minneapolis area. Who's the ideal juror, Paul, for the prosecution?
Okay, so there are really 2 things that I'd be looking for a juror for prosecution. One is someone that is conscious and aware of race. And even though they're not saying it, that's why they're asking those questions about the types of protests and what their feelings are. Those are dance arounds to get people to talk about race and to get people to see race. So that's first, someone that is comfortable having those conversations or is conscious and aware of race. The secondary issue is someone that understands rules and can enforce rules, that understands and knows that there are things that are supposed to be and people should follow them. And if they can't follow them, that they can be judgmental, that they can make decisions, that they can discipline. You're looking for people that maybe have been managers. You're looking for people that have been parents that talk about how they've enforced rules in their homes with their children. Those are the 2 kind of areas that you're looking for in a case like this, because you want people to understand both of those issues going into this evidence to conform to those values to try and get them to get to a decision about guilt.
Sue Ann, the defense, who are they going for?
The defense are going to go for people that don't have common sense. I mean, the state is going to get in their evidence that says there was an office-wide memo telling the police officers, listen, we have this Derek Chauvin thing going on right now. The city's kind of hot. We're not going to arrest people for misdemeanors. And then this crew of officers does exactly that. And then it results in the death of another black man. So I think that is going to cause a serious issue for the defense's case. They're going to have to find a set of people that are going to be able to listen to a 26-year-old veteran saying, a training officer, essentially saying she couldn't tell the difference between a banana and an apple. The taser and the gun are so different in weight, in size, in feel, and how they're deployed, that they're literally going to have people that are going to just not even apply common sense in that simple, basic issue.
Well, Sue Ann, I'm not sure if the defense had any sense with this move, but they told a prospective juror today that their client will be taking the stand. Now, trial strategy can change during a trial, and as a defense lawyer, you should always underpromise and overdeliver. Was it smart for the defense to let these jurors know their strategy so soon?
Yeah, she's gonna cry. We know that. She's going to get up there, she's going to cry, and she's going to say, I made a mistake. The problem is she also said, I'm going to prison. So if the state plays the entire video, she says, oh my God, I shot him, I'm going to prison. Like, you're about to lose your job. Like, that started playing in her head because she absolutely made a mistake. Someone lost their life. Okay, she made a mistake that's going to change her life, and she should be accountable for that because she has too much training and too much experience to not be accountable for making that decision. And that's the bottom line. So, but of course she's going to get on the stand and do the theatrics. We all know it. I'm waiting for the memes. It's going to happen.
Well, Paul, we've seen defendants taking the stand a lot lately. In one trial, it worked, Kyle Rittenhouse, and in the other, it didn't, in the Ahmaud Arbery killing. Now, albeit different set of circumstances and facts, but does Kim Potter really even have a choice? I mean, she's got to explain how her 26 years of experience as a veteran officer, how she confused her gun for a taser.
She has no choice. She must take the stand. Otherwise, when prosecution puts in all of that information, the memo outlining that this is not what they should do, and then contrasts the difference between the gun and the taser itself, they've got to really, that paints a very clear picture that the rules were not followed and that this officer acted on her own volition, first of all, in just stopping this person anyway when they shouldn't have stopped the person, and then to escalate it, because that's something that we have to unpack later, is how did this entanglement escalate into lethal force? And then the force that you used was counter to the weight of your gun, the shape of your gun, on the wrong side of your gun, and counter to the training. And the training is really important because you, ma'am, are the trainer, defendant. You were training someone and you still shot someone. And in order to address those issues, you have to get on the stand. She's got to take the stand to cry. She's got to get on the stand to be sympathetic. She's got to get on the stand to say she had a lapse in judgment, she was confused. Anything other than what the facts speak for themselves automatically, which will get her very easily to a manslaughter. But to me, again, the bigger issue is beyond just this prosecution, how are we going to address to make sure that these things don't keep happening? Where are the policies that are institutionalized, not the temporary memos about while the block is hot for police not to be stopping and arresting on misdemeanors? Where the institutionalized policies addressing use of force specifically to make sure that we don't have another incident next week, next month, next year? We still don't have that. And as important as this case is for accountability, it's accountability for this singular case and not a broader accountability tied to reform, because they're two separate things, for that entire department to address behavior like this. That's what's really important. So that's the big picture and the macro analysis.
Well, Sue Ann, even if she does take the stand and turns on the waterworks, I don't really see that working because, I mean, she's charged with first-degree manslaughter, and so prosecutors have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she caused Daunte's death while committing the misdemeanor offense of reckless handling or use of a firearm. So no matter how many times you cry and say you made a mistake, you might not have meant it, but you made the mistake, and so you still need to be criminally held responsible.
That part. Kim Potter already said she's going to prison. You know what I'm saying? So again, she can turn on the waterworks because obviously, you know, I'm making light of it, but you know, someone lost their life. It's very, very serious. And I'm sure it's very, very serious to her. But the issue is that police department, the community has already said they do not care about Black people. They're not taking care of us. They're not taking care and being careful. Look at what happened to George Floyd. And so I actually landed in Minnesota when Daunte Wright the same night. And the community was already organized, already ready to go, because this is something that they've been talking about and bringing light to for so long. Look at these officers that are here to protect us that aren't even careful, in the sense that this woman is now saying, oh, oops, I shot him, I meant to tase him. And then this jury is going to have to look at the facts of the case and decide that's not going to be acceptable, that she's going to have to be accountable. And we all hope that the verdicts in a case like this speaks to other officers to be more careful and make more assessments and not use deadly force at basic traffic stops anymore. That's the hope. So we'll see what happens, but she'll absolutely, be very upset on the stand. I'm sure she did an upsetting thing, but at the end of the day, the law is the law, and she meets the requirements certainly for second-degree manslaughter.